the indoor system.
Hey, howdy, hey. Welcome to another Praxcast episode.
Hey, howdy.
All right, then, boom.
What kind of 1950s tomfoolery are you trying?
What the fuck?
Opa is currently having a stroke, but I'm
This
actually
is a
in
wreck.
this episode.
Bro.
Last week I had a bit of technical difficulties, so
Well, Angel,
the best I could do
good.
was introduce and edit the video. That was it. So
Yeah,
I'm happy to be
We
back
still had a
with you
fun
guys.
time.
We are good to have you back, my friend.
Yes, it
We
is very
missed
nice
you.
to have you back.
That's-
You and
yeah.
your 1950s tomfoolery.
Well, Johnny, let's get to the first topic. All right.
Oh, yes! Alright, let's get to the first topic.
And my
now, yeah.
lightsaber.
Ahsoka episode 4, The Fallen Jedi. We finally gotten to. First of all, we're past the first 3 episode allegations. We finally have a Disney Plus show other than Andor that we can safely say, hey, I watched 3 episodes of this. I actually want to know more instead of
Exactly.
dropping it.
Well,
Yeah.
it actually feels like there's a plan this time, and it's not just
Exactly.
Bar now. Just get through
Yeah.
the first 3 episodes, and then you can actually question the show.
Exactly. Like I feel as though there's 4 episodes left, but this one, I didn't expect this to be like the episode, right?
Anakin spoke highly of you.
yeah.
So
I didn't affect you either.
because so much happened in this episode that we may have expected or theorized beforehand, but we didn't know how it would happen. And once we watched it happen, Jesus Christ, it's some of the best Star Wars we've had in a very, very long time. It felt like an eternity, like a return to form, really.
Right.
So,
This is where the fun begins.
Everything about that 4th episode was so fucking good.
True.
So juicy. A breath of fresh air compared
It
to all the
is-
garbage that Disney
Yeah.
has been serving us, with the exception of
man.
Andor.
It's the best
like-
lightsaber action that
yeah.
that we could have asked for, honestly.
No, I was about to say,
It's the
he
Disney
fucking
era.
cooked it.
It's like we've been force-fed Brussels sprouts, and we finally get the ice cream at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah.
So
But
Disney
this
basically
episode-
just going, "Here comes the airplane," and it's like, man, and
Exactly.
it's like Book of Boba Fett, and we're like, ugh, no.
No, get it out of my face.
That's looking at it lightly.
That's looking at it very lightly.
Jesus.
I think we all expected Anakin to show up in this show, but I was certainly not expecting it to be this
Not-
episode.
Part 4, yeah. Like, of
Four.
course, there are many people that would make the argument like, "Oh, it was a cliffhanger," but I'm like, I don't really mind it because that they're saving that next episode. That next episode is what, 49 minutes long or something?
I think it's
It's like-
up there.
So yeah,
Really?
like they're gonna complain like, "Oh, well, it's a cliffhanger." Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not appreciate the joy and value that is Hayden Christensen coming back as Anakin Skywalker? you
Sometimes
fucking
we-
asshole!
Yeah.
He
He
looks
looks
so
great.
good.
He looks so good.
fantastic. Because when you look at the Kenobi cameo or the Kenobi like part where he was in, and like you see he's supposed to be 18, 19-year-old Anakin. This is supposed to be right before Attack of the Clones starts, and it's like
It's very,
I mean,
very 30-ish for being a 19-year-old.
very
Yeah.
30-ish. Like, he just finished grad school. You know? He's
Right?
He's on his freaking he's on his freaking like work site job, like, you know, he's learning as he's going along.
Oh my god. I was about to say, he has the Jedi mullet, which I just have to say is beautiful. Absolutely majestic in every single way.
Yeah, it really feels like when we see this, new version, or we see the returning version of Anakin, it really looks like where we left off back in Revenge of the Sith. Like, it feels like
That's what
we're right back on
Yeah.
track.
Because we were talking about that earlier, where we see him, like Opie mentioned yesterday, like it's been 20-something years since we've seen Revenge of the Sith Anakin, and like when we
It is approximately. It's approximately been, I believe, That was 2005. It's 2023. So like 18 years, 19
18
maybe.
years. Yeah,
Wow.
the
Almost
20th
20.
anniversary is coming up in 2 years,
Yeah,
and
Jesus.
that's crazy to think about. And that's what we were expecting with Kenobi. We thought we were going to see Anakin like right as we saw him before the Mustafar incident, and seeing that brotherhood dynamic between him and Obi-Wan, which, oh my god, that was a missed opportunity. Like, because I was telling you guys earlier before we started recording, we really didn't need to see Padawan Anakin again. Like, he was way past that. Once we left him in Attack of the Clones, he had become a man finally. He'd become a Jedi in his own right. Probably the most famous Jedi of his era, because Palpatine in universe was like pumping up his image. Like, he was the Republic's poster boy. He was the hero with no fear.
Isn't that
And
kind of weird that out of all of the people to be Anakin's hype man, it was the literal fucking Supreme Chancellor of the Republic?
but
That's nasty.
seeing him again in that form was so surreal, because we're 4 or 5 years removed from Return of the Jedi, and the last time we really see him, he's a Force ghost. We don't know if this Anakin is a Force ghost or not,
Right.
because
No.
he's in his Revenge of the Sith cloak, or he's in tunic, and he has his robot arm, like the gauntlet, and I'm like, you had human hands as a spirit, so what's going on? What's really going on here?
You know, like when you look at his face, some people online were saying, "Oh, he has no scar." He has a scar.
He has it. Yeah,
He
It's
has
just really
it.
faded.
It's just the lighting. It's just the lighting. It's there though, if you look closely. But I have absolutely no complaints about it. It's just such a satisfying thing to see. Like, just
Satisfied to see Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker after like over 15 years without Hayden Christensen
man.
as Anakin. It's fucking crazy how good he
Hearing
looks
him say snips in his
in
voice.
live action.
In
Yes,
Hayden's
it's
voice,
just
yeah.
do you know how long all of us have been waiting for that?
so long.
Oh my goodness.
Like I expected to
he-
see him.
Mhm.
It's just that moment of suspense when he said, "Hey, Snips," it was really faded. And then then when he said the rest of his lines, it felt like it was closer, or Ahsoka waking up from unconscious or whatever the heck she was in.
Right. And also, like, when the camera pans him, I was mentioning this earlier, there's a motif that Kevin Kiner puts in where it's Anakin's theme from Phantom Menace mixed in with his betrayal theme from Episode 3. I thought that was a really cool tie-in to like what his character represents, because it was a more upbeat version of it, like more hopeful and warm sounding. Because in that moment, like, he's seeing her again. She doesn't know what happened on Death Star 2. She can't know. I hope she doesn't.
Right.
But him seeing her is like a warm embrace, especially with that smile he gave her too.
Such a
May or
sweet
may not
smile.
be.
If you think
Which may or
about
may
it,
not be ominous.
if you think about it from like a real life certain angle, this is the first time Anakin and Ahsoka are seeing each other through. This is the first time Anakin seeing Ahsoka through the eyes of actual Anakin since Revenge of the Sith, or I guess season 7 of Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
And this is the first time that she's seeing Anakin since that time, because this isn't Vader. This is actual Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Corvus, weren't you mentioning that smile he gave her was similar to the one that he gives her in season 7 when they like part their ways?
Oh yeah, I was like, dude,
so many fucking. It's almost like it's
Poetry.
it's poetry. It rhymes.
Shout out to George.
Well, and
Jesus.
what's funny,
George, you in that.
I'm trying to think of an example, like someone's evil version of themselves. The only thing I can think of is Fall, and that's not even like Paul McCartney, but it was like Fall, like fake Paul McCartney. I don't know. Anyways,
Like Paul McCartney.
Yeah, when they said he died, like it was like he's
Do me
fallen.
a favor, while you're editing, do me a favor and pull up fake Paul McCartney. Thank you very much.
Fake Paul McCartney will now appear on your screen.
I just think that
Prepare to be terrified by its Britishness.
I just think it's interesting. Like, you know, again, it could mean nothing, but I'm like, there's speculation that may not be the Anakin that Ahsoka thinks it is. It's a mirror image.
The way she turns and the camera pans, it's similar to the Twilight of the Apprentice episode when Vader turns and sees her.
Yeah, I saw the similarity. I saw the two videos together.
Because is like
crazy how all that just kind of fucking crazy how all that just connects with one another.
Yeah.
So one thing that I really wanted to say is that, like, because we don't know, you know, if this, let's say this is like Vader Anakin. This is like, what if Anakin had killed Obi-Wan in the like in the Revenge of the Sith game, and like, dude, if that is what is gonna happen, that is like the closest we will ever be to, like, you know, you guys always hear about you know how they always say, like, people were like terrified of Vader in the theaters when the originals came out, and like people were like, you know, like crying whenever he said that he was his father and everything. Like, I'm like, that's the closest we will ever be to like that, experiencing that
in our lifetime.
Basically with Anakin, on what kind of Anakin we're going to see. My theory about it is, like, I think it, as much as like we'd like to see it, I don't think it will be the good Anakin. I think it will be Darth Vader 100%. Like, I'm going full on that because I think just the theme just did it for me. I was like, okay, there we go. Like, you're hinting it.
What do you think about that theory about him possibly being the son of Mortis, sort of shifting his body around to like have Anakin's image? He's done it before.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I think it'd be very interesting. Yeah.
My two going theories is, you know, that is Anakin, and the reason that he looks the way he does instead of like a Force ghost is just that the Force is so strong in the world between worlds for some reason. Maybe it's like a sort of purgatory for Force wielders or something. I don't know. But the other theory, of course, that I think is the most likely is that it is the son of Mortis, because, you know, in episode 1 you can actually hear him talking when Ahsoka is looking for the map under the Night Sister Temple. And so I'm 70% convinced that it's going to be a bad guy Anakin, or the son of Mortis.
It's almost like, you know, all of these theories we've been like, this is bigger than Marok. Okay, like when it comes to like Sam Witwer, it's all the theories just surrounding Sam Witwer since this show came out. It's like everybody was like almost right on the money, but honestly, I'm like, he played the son too, you know, he voiced the son, and he also did say like, he is the chosen one, or is he like as the son, you know?
He is the Yep.
He is.
Mm-hmm. He said that line in the Clone Wars. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's the line that you hear in episode 1 of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Well, my theory is like, it's the most stereotypical sci-fi idiocy that you'll ever hear. My theory is basically, oh, well, the Force has put me in this form because it is the one that you recognize as Anakin Skywalker, and I'm just gonna be like, fuck you, Anakin. You're the chosen one. You can do what you want. Fuck you. You just wanted to be Hayden Christensen again.
I'm tired of sounding like Mad Lancer.
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
This is where the fun begins.
If it is the son, then that will be a problem. Because Ahsoka and the son do have history, considering that her life force basically has the daughters in her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is literally the daughter's life force inside of Ahsoka, so that might cause a massive, massive issue.
Yeah, for
when it
sure.
comes to him wanting to resurrect the daughter or something like that, so he can have his family back, possibly.
Now, do you think because that kind of leads into our next point is, how did she get to the world between worlds? She fell off a cliff. You don't just wake up there. Somebody has to get you and pull you out or something. Did he pull her out, or did Anakin pull her out? Did the son pull her out?
I think
Anakin is so balls deep into the Force that he could just pull people through reality and throw them into the world between worlds.
Yeah, no, honestly, my theory is like I think he did what Ezra did to Ahsoka in Rebels. Like how like
yeah.
Do you know how she was kind of when you saw her in the world between worlds, she was kind of like laying down and she had to get up. I feel like 100% just Anakin pulled her from falling to her death, or she died and then ended up there. It could be one of the it could be one of the two, but I think it's more likely Anakin pulled her in.
Well, I mean, if she did die, then it would make sense that her life energy would go through the Force, considering that she is the literal daughter.
So
right. I think the daughter potentially could have done it herself, like Morai. Yeah. It's either that or it's Anakin for me.
So I don't know. I think Azure, you might have already said this, but like regarding that, because like we know like a lot of people were confused. We're all like, it's just we just gotta wait till next week. But like a lot of people were like, so how is she there? And did Anakin pull her there? If you go to like, it's like 33 minutes and 14 seconds, like a couple of seconds after that, it's when Ahsoka's still laying there, and it's like, oh, she's still in the water, but she's really not. You can hear Anakin's voice like pretty clearly say like Ahsoka, and then a couple seconds later, you hear what sounds like him saying like, follow my voice. So like, I think it's the same thing. I'm sorry if we're like, you guys already touched on this. I think it's just the same thing as like whenever Qui-Gon and them were like reaching out to Anakin as he was crossing over to the other side, and it's like, it's kind of cool though, because it's like the world between worlds is maybe where they go and where they exist, and that's why Anakin doesn't look like a Force ghost, because it's like he's projecting himself in the real world, but now he's in his own realm. So cool.
Because if I know anything about like how like certain astral planes work in like fiction, like I compared it earlier to Black Panther's astral plane, where like he sees the ancestors and everything, and they appear how they want to appear, and for her, he's appearing like how she last saw him, like right before she left for Mandalore. So that might be like a thing where it's it might be a thing where he's doing that on purpose, or that could just be like we're seeing through her lens like what he looks like right now. He's not transparent, so that's a clue.
Yeah.
But
Interacting with the real world makes them transparent, but interacting within the confines of the world between worlds doesn't.
I mean, according to Disney, like Force ghosts can literally just do anything a living person can, but better. So like, what's literally the point of
like catching lightsabers before they hit bonfires or something?
The Jedi's weapon deserves more respect.
Yeah,
Luke, you threw that shit off a cliff like 2 months ago. Just stop.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's kind of wacky. It's kind of wacky how that works.
Kind of whack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
they just make the rules up on the fly. So
yeah, but I feel like with Ahsoka and with Rebels and with all of this, the Anakin's whole deal with why he appears as actual Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith, like I said, probably has to do with how he is being perceived as that Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars, before Ahsoka ran off to fucking fight Maul and Mandalore. But yeah. So, but she definitely has a connection to the world between worlds, considering that she's literally just, she has the daughter. Yeah, she's practically a Force demigod, considering that she has the daughter's life force within her, because, she literally died on Mortis.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of dying, Ahsoka clearly caught a body this episode.
Yeah, Marok is gone.
Marok is dust, quite literally.
Yeah, it turns out he's just a bodysuit with weird ass fucking Night Sister dust in it.
Bag, bro. Oh no.
Fucking meat bags.
So first of all, before I start this point, rip to all the Marok conspirators and
yeah, man. I would. That was
Josh.
It was Star Killer.
You know what? I feel bad. Sorry. I feel bad for Star Wars fans because we are the most devout fucking conspiracy theorists on the planet.
On the planet.
And then whenever one of our fucking theories turns out to be wrong and they're just like, LOL, Marok was just a meat suit for fucking fairy dust. Turns out, oh yeah, well, fuck us, I guess. There's always next time. We'll get Sam Witwer in live action one day. I promise.
One day, but not today.
One day, not now, but one day.
Not today. Not today, but one day.
Do you think he was actually just a construct of Night Sister magic?
And just to say this, I bet you anything that Sam Witwer shows up as the son next episode, and then this is gonna get posted on that fucking Wednesday. I bet it.
The thing is with Marok, he went away the same exact way Savage did in Clone Wars when he was fighting Palpatine with Maul.
Well, maybe, kind of, yeah, but when it came to it wasn't really the same. Savage got stabbed, and then it just secreted out of him. Fucking Marok violently exploded. He just blew up like a fucking confetti bomb.
No, bro, he
wasn't pretty.
No, she cut it open and all the Kool-Aid powder came out.
Oh my gosh.
He was lime flavored, clearly. But I wonder, was that a Zabrak under there? Was that a Night Brother? Are they even alive right now? Because the last time we really see them is Jedi Fallen Order, where you're hacking and slashing them on Dathomir. So either Cal killed all of them, or there's still some, still left. Either way, I didn't really find his death too anticlimactic, but I feel as though the way they were building him up, maybe he left a little bit more to be desired,
Especially since they put him in the intro of the show where it shows those flashing of the different helmets and stuff.
Yeah.
They put him in that, and so that definitely led to speculation. Also, I was just realizing this. Maybe he explodes the way he does because there's not a physical body under all of that suit. It's just smoke. He's just a smoke monster.
He's just fuck this shit, I'm out.
Someone was mentioning
he's physical Zabrak and Savage. So
someone was mentioning that it was a sort of a nihilist thing where he's not really. He's just an entity. He's not really a person.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
what's the lady's name? That's
Morgan Elsbeth.
She's the one from Dathomir, right?
Correct.
She probably had to do something with that had to do with Marok, in my opinion.
That's what we think.
Yeah.
What if next episode? This is maybe just a stretch, but what if she finds out about Marok's death, and then they say something, or we find out what actually he was. Yeah,
I'm sure she's aware of obviously he was supposed to make the trek with them to Thrawn, but obviously he didn't come back, so she's just whatever.
I don't think Marok was. I don't think Marok was really meant to be like a permanent tool for her to use against the Jedi.
Do you think?
More or less.
Do you think he was made to be like a jobber? Like, there's multiple Maroks out there.
Well, I mean, apparently with Night Sister magic, you could just inject anybody with enough fucking steroids and make them into full-blown Dark Jedi Sith motherfuckers. So I think there's a good chance that he might have just been like a temporary tool, or like until, you know, she either found somebody stronger or until he just, you know, bit the dust. Quote LOL.
Well, in the Clone Wars, when we're seeing like Savage going through those like trials that were being put on, and like he had that friend that was in the trials with him, I feel like I remember the friend that he had wasn't very strong, and so like they had to do a lot of searching for candidates for Night Brothers and stuff to imbue their magic with.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not as easy as we think.
The process is really weird.
Can I say something different about the episode? About Sabine?
Sabine.
Yeah, remember back in episode 1 of the podcast where I was like, oh, I'm gonna be really mad if Sabine is a Jedi. I'm not gonna like if she uses the Force myself. Now I actually like it. One, because we're getting training, we're getting character development, we're seeing failure, and then learning from the failure, and seeing the growth.
Boy, we haven't had that in a while.
The anti-Rey.
That shit hasn't happened in a while because, all right, going to like the new fights like Balin and Ahsoka, and Sabine versus Hati. Those fights were really fucking good.
They were.
And, my God. Actually, we'll be right back on that point after this commercial break. See you in a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, beings of all kind, we thank you for choosing Purgle Intergalactic today. Hyperspace travel preparations will begin shortly. Please take your seats at this time and stow away any loose baggage in the overhead. Remember to keep your hands and feet inside the space whale at all times. In the event that the cabin of the Purgle-assisted Star Destroyer should lose oxygen, we ask that you please assist the Grand Admiral next to you with securing their oxygen mask before securing your own oxygen mask. Oh, I do really hate flying. Please be aware of the exits at the front, middle, and rear of the craft. And last but not least, in the event of an emergency landing, well, honestly, there will be no emergency landing and you'll pretty much be floating in space for the rest of eternity. Thank you and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Oh no, I'm out of here. See ya.
Thank you, Purgle Intergalactic, for sponsoring our video. We really couldn't get around the galaxy without you guys. Honestly.
I gotta try some of that juice, man.
Personally, as much as I hate the fact that I have giant-ass space whales crashing through my window, it's still better than flying Spirit Airlines. Thank you so much for sponsoring our content.
No, we
I hate Spirit Airlines.
And it's arguably worse dealing with the lightsaber battles in the airways. So
yeah.
You know. But hey,
It
does have those sexy Twi'lek flight attendants.
Oh God! You and the Twi'lek flight attendants. I swear to God.
We have history.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you also acquired the 18,000 Mile High Club?
I'm not quite there yet.
Anyway.
This is the worst.
Hyperspace.
Oh, the hyperspace
whales. Did it do a number, man? Did this Eye of Sion do a number on that little squadron of the New Republic? Hera was leading.
Yep.
Because, oh boy, they were not ready.
Morgan did not give a shit that they were in their way.
Ignore them. I'm like, oh.
100% that was 100% a Thrawn maneuver.
You know,
dude,
just crash through everything in your path.
Bulldoze through it, yeah.
Speaking of the Eye of Sion thing, because I want to try to address all the kind of confusion that I'm seeing out there. Just like things that people are talking about. So one of the things that I heard talked about after last night was why didn't it just cut through the ship? Somebody said that, the Holdo maneuver, and I'm just not to be snarky about it, but think about it. When you bat a small object, it doesn't really cut through it. It just kind of sends it flying. And so the supremacy, not that I got my reserves about all that anyways, but the supremacy was a way bigger ship, and these are small fighters, so they're just gonna be kind of knocked around. I just wanted to clear that up though.
Okay, look, now you have to bring in the physics of Star Wars and their fucking starfighters. Swear to God. Alright, so with the Holdo maneuver, obviously you have a Mal Calamari cruiser smashing into what is effectively a super hyped up Imperial class Star Destroyer, or Super Star Destroyer, whatever the fuck. That's extremely long. So there's a lot more surface area to hit, so obviously it would be doing an extreme amount of damage. But in this situation, you effectively have what is a giant ring smacking into a couple of starfighters.
Yeah.
Going at super high speed, so obviously the shockwave from that would fuck up anybody coming into contact with it.
It was pretty much an EMP if you think about it, because everything shut down almost immediately, and then the fighters started crashing into one another. Man, I really didn't expect them to be smack dab in the middle of it, but that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is since they're going to pick up Thrawn from soccer practice, where are they gonna pop back up?
Morgan, I just scored a goal. Come pick me up immediately.
That's what I needed to do. Is pick me up from soccer practice post haste. Hello?
Post haste. Hello, Morgan.
Morgan.
Tell me about the bunnies, Morgan.
This intergalactic telephone line is not working. Morgan, where the hell are you at with my car?
But the fact nobody's talking about how traumatized Jason Syndulla is right now.
True. I was just thinking about that.
This kid is super traumatized right now because he just got mind fucked by the fact that now. Yeah, he just saw people die.
Get killed.
Yeah, probably very good friends of his that he literally probably knew on a personal level, considering that his mom is a general.
Not only that, but he literally saw these people explode right outside of the ghost. It was like an HD IMAX for him, dude.
This kid has all the trauma now.
Jason Syndulla watched Oppenheimer level event.
He's gonna say the thing. He said the thing.
Oppenheimer in 8K.
Oh my. Jeez.
X-Wing Massacre in 8K IMAX HD.
I just realized something.
Oh god.
So,
yeah, another thing.
What's up,
Sabine is gone, right? And Ahsoka's in the world between worlds. Are we going to need to see any more of Hera? Or are we even going to see any more of Hera?
Well, yeah, I think
we'll
so.
definitely see more of Hera. I mean,
what is she going to be doing?
Imagining this from a POV sort of level, we have someone who's literally going to another side of the universe to get Thrawn. We have someone who's in the world between worlds, and we have someone who's caught dead ass in the middle of all of that, trying to fucking find out what the fuck just happened?
I think
the only real normal person in all of this too.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
only reason
it's
they
basically
would
Hera.
show her again, though, is if she eventually comes back into contact with one of them. And so what I'm thinking is that she's somehow, some way, the Purgles are going to factor into this, and they're going to bring somebody. And I think they're going to bring Hera.
Here's my thing. She needs to go back immediately. Well, she needs to regroup with Hu Yang, and they're going to go back to Home One, and they're going to make the New Republic Council look so dumb. So dumb. I mean, they're already looking really stupid right now.
I'm pretty sure this was completely planned on their part. They're like, oh no, Thrawn's coming back. Whatever will we do?
I hope it doesn't come to that, because she quite literally told you, hey, he's out there still, and he's plotting something we don't know about. I'd like to take at least a small fleet to go check out what's going on. But no, you gave me a small strike force to work with.
They didn't even give that to her. She just left with them.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't even think they gave her that strike force. It was just like a handful of volunteers who trusted her judgment because, you know, it's Hera fucking Syndulla.
I don't like the New Republican canon.
Me neither.
Oh no, the New Republican canon. Yeah, the New Republican canon fucking sucks ass.
If I remember, like, in you know, here I am, in my legends.
We all prefer Legends at this point.
Yeah.
But in Legends, like, Mon Mothma and Leia work very closely together to set up everything that is to come in the next, you know, they plan for at least the next century and a half ahead for, you know, everybody's descendants coming through for the New Republic. And, you know, they have all this stuff in place. They never really demilitarized the Alliance. They set security measures as necessary. They don't necessarily have, like, you know, they're not overbearing force like the Empire was, which is what apparently that's Mon Mothma's fear in canon, because she's a pacifist, is that if they keep being a militarized force, they'll just become another empire. I really don't believe that, honestly. I think most people in the New Republic or in the Alliance know better because they fought against that. So why would they make the same mistake, you know? I feel as though they're I don't know.
Angel,
they're really playing into their hands.
Angel, here's the thing. Like, my point of view is essentially, like, you spent all of 19 years developing, like, this massive army to use against the Empire, but whenever you actually need to use it, you just get the fuck rid of it because it's not convenient to have them around anymore because you want to demilitarize the Republic. Like, you do realize the whole reason why the Empire rose to power in the first place was because of the demilitarized Republic, leaving everybody to fend for themselves, right? Why would you do that again?
Because the Republic hadn't had an army since the like the Sith Wars and all that, and, you know, the Old Republic era. So, you know, I mean, obviously they didn't think the Sith were a threat by then, but it's still very questionable how, even though there are no quote-unquote threats going on, you still have, like, close to no protection for any of your assets. And that Senator Ziono guy, I already knew from the jump I wouldn't like him either.
As fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What do you guys think?
Well, my thoughts are already made very clear. The Empire has, like, sunken their claws and their teeth into the New Republic, and they're basically latching on, and they're trying to bleed it out.
Right into their hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people loyal to the Empire than they make it out to be.
I agree.
Oh yeah, they think they're just no threat at all anymore. No, it's not really the case.
Good job hiring the space Nazis for your ships that may or may not be
we
sabotaged.
blew up the Star. That means there's nothing left, right?
It's really unfortunate too, because all of the Empire people are, obviously extremely smart and resourceful, and none of them are working for the Republic. So the Republic's just left with nobody that knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
Just give the Nazis all of the power and all of the control over every single military asset that you have. It'll be fine. I think.
Totally won't be sabotaged in like 20 years.
Yeah, this totally isn't the fucking plot to Captain America Civil War. It's fine.
Hydra's all back.
No, not Captain America Civil War. I meant Winter Soldier. What the fuck am I thinking?
Speaking of soldiers,
yes,
samurai type style of fighting that they had with the lightsaber duels.
All right, yeah.
All right, let's talk about this. First of all,
I've been dying to
Fallen Skull is a fucking beast of a man.
Oh man,
He's a
Ray
dude.
Stevenson
He
is
is
so
the
good.
definition of Jedi beefcake.
He's literally my favorite character. No,
Oh yeah,
in
he's
this
so
show.
good.
I
Bro,
like
I
him
am
more than I like
actually
Ahsoka.
joking.
Literally,
Dude.
he's one of the few only villains that will be like, all right, I'm gonna talk my smack, then I'm gonna beat your ass. That's what he does. That's what he does.
Yeah. Dude, he beat the shit out of Ahsoka. He and he
Yeah,
didn't even have
this-
a problem.
Yeah, this man effortlessly was fighting Ahsoka, being like, he was parrying every move that she had. He was blocking blaster bolts like an absolute madman.
Yeah, which is
And-
crazy
Just tell
because
me
And he was talking shit the entire time.
yeah, talking about Anakin, making her more angry,
Gosh,
throwing her
yeah.
off balance, man. Oh, he's
Now tell me why she walked into the boss room. He had no health bar. What in the dark is happening
hit him with that
here?
Vader from Jedi Survivor.
God,
Ahsoka,
this is
save
so
your
bad.
Dude, that's gotta be one of my favorite lightsaber fights now.
Oh yeah,
It was great. I mean, just everything, and also, Sabine held up with
Shin.
with
That's
Shin.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it held up really well, and there's a thing going on about her reaching out her hand and using the Force.
right. A lot of people
Um,
think that maybe she didn't, maybe she did.
I think a tiny bit of it came out,
Me
like
too.
a little bit, and
You
then
hear a little bit of the sound too.
And then Shin, you hear it, and Shin says, "You have no power," as in she felt it, but like she didn't really feel it, as in it didn't really hurt or none of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can
She didn't
certainly
really
see why
feel the
people
force
think
coming through.
that-
She was just like, "Oh shit, you just tried to force push me?
Right.
You
I can
you
certainly
have no
see
power
why
here."
people think that it was only like Shin was flinching, like getting ready for a push so that she wouldn't get off balance, but then nothing came
think it
out.
was
So it
preparation
could go
for it,
either
yeah.
way. It could go either
Yeah.
way. But I'm leaning on she exerted a little bit of force, but Shin was not impressed at all.
Mhm.
And of course that goes to her downfall because then she goes all Mando on her.
Man, and then I love that he's Filoni's, and shout out to Peter Ramsey who directed this episode. He's the director of Into the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Yeah,
Incredible
he did
director.
a great job.
He did a fantastic job with like everything here. But the way they're taking the Kurosawa influence that started George on this path with Space Samurai in the first place, with Jedi and Sith, I'm loving how the fights can breathe. Not that I don't love the constant action and blood pumping, pace of the prequels. I love the prequels era fights. I love the original trilogy era fights where it was more based on the samurai combat. And then this here is like a perfect blend of both of those. And I'm so happy that I'm like living in this time where I can appreciate both.
Yeah.
And then see both at the same time in action. That was great.
Well, and thinking about the Balon fight with Ahsoka, I still do not really remember what the fucking actor's name is, the one who died
Ray
recently.
Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson. The amount of fucking authority
Power.
Ray Stevenson
Yes.
holds over the screen while he is fighting Ahsoka. Holy shit!
He's
This
the only
man
person you
holds
want to listen to
authority.
when he comes on screen, man.
Like, this man literally stands there holding his lightsaber with two fucking hands like a beast, holding it like a greatsword in the middle of combat, and he is doing so well. Fighting against Ahsoka.
You know, one of my favorite things that he did during the fight is when like Ahsoka and him are like clashing the saber, like clashing together, right, with the sabers. And while it's happening, he like pushes it midway through, like pushes the saber to put more force on it, while like just really aggressively to the point where you can really see it. And I'm like, damn, like he just wants to drive it to the ground right now.
There was this one jumping flourish motion.
That's my favorite moment.
Oh yeah, that was very impressive. Yes,
he swings the saber. He kind of does like an Anakin in the middle as he's jumping, and then he swings down on. Oh my gosh, dude! Because he throws. So good. He reminds me of Anakin a lot, because if I had to assign a lightsaber form to him, it would be Form 5, which is even crazier that Ahsoka loses to that because she knows that form so well because of Anakin using it.
That was her mistake, right? Because she switched to Form 5 in that fight, which she should have used 4, which is like more supplemental for her because it's acrobatic. But she tried to meet power with power, and she got blazed.
She got blazed, and her hand got blazed, by the way, too.
She tried
with
to be
that Night Sister magic.
Yeah, it's almost like you shouldn't, you know, I don't know how tall. I'll pick up a hot ball, obviously, but whenever you're fighting, I don't think it's very wise that Rosario Dawson, who probably sits at about 5'6" or 5'7", should take on a motherfucker who looks like he's 6'8" and some change, and try to fight him power with power. This man was swinging a sword like he could cut through one of those fucking monoliths, and he did. It's insane.
Like I said, David Soul is a Dark Souls boss.
No, he literally came off of the fields of Braveheart. Bro's best friends with William Wallace.
But yeah, this man's an absolute beast, and then he just socks the shit out of Ahsoka, and she
throws
falls
her off a cliff and she dies.
She just falls off that cliff after she uses the Force and pushes Shin Hati to the side because she thinks that Sabine is probably dead.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh, you done fucked up. And then, yeah, thank God Scrub's not here, or else she would have fucking whooped my ass for saying Sabine. She's drop kicked me and assaulted me with a fucking sandal.
I would have sent you to the world between worlds.
Oh God! It's like, what did I do? You said Satine instead of Sabine. It's like, ah, shit. That's why I have a sandal mark on my fucking face.
Thank God.
She's very aggressive when it comes to that.
Indeed. So 4 episodes left. I can't believe like I'm saying that. Like I feel like this episode. I feel like this season. Or first of all, I honestly think if you're going to do a show about Ahsoka Tano, it should be actual season length of episodes. I don't want a mini series. I need a show about
16 episodes.
Yeah,
dude, 16 at least. You know, but 4 episodes remaining. We're going to have to see Thrawn and Ezra at some point. We see Thrawn in the trailer.
Oh, we will. We will.
And do you think that there will be an episode dedicated to how him and Ezra have survived for the past...
They might save that for the movie.
7 years?
I really hope they do.
They might save that
for 7 years.
I hope they do the flash... Or not... Well, yeah, honestly, a flashback.
I can really tell it's like...
Next episode, aren't we going to find out where they are?
I feel like that is going to be next episode is Thrawn being introduced
Thrawn
to
is going
Sabine.
to probably be at the end of that episode.
Oh, I hope not. Because that's cutting it close with 3 episodes left, and you haven't seen any Thrawn.
Yeah, if they cut it in between Anakin and Ahsoka's talk, and then
it'll be Anakin and Ahsoka get 20 minutes, and then the rest, like 29 minutes, goes to Thrawn and Sabine.
I am certain that Ahsoka and Anakin are just going to take a tour through the world between worlds, talking to each other about all the shit that happened between episode 3 and then on, because it's gonna
That'd
get
be great.
wild.
That'd be great.
You know, one thing that would make me not kind of piss me off is if it is the son of Mortis that we're talking to, and the real Anakin never shows up. That would make me a little.
I do really need
upset.
him to actually show up.
I need the real Anakin.
I don't think that's
show
gonna
up.
happen. I think this is the real Anakin for sure. I don't think they would do that.
Yeah,
honestly with you.
Like,
at the
he-
very least, I hope we do see the real Anakin at one point. I don't care if this
Yeah.
is the son of Mortis and it's like, you know, trying to trick us, and then maybe Anakin comes in, the real Anakin comes in and saves her. So
I was
we'll see.
thinking about that too, because he could just be like, "What the hell are you doing with my apprentice?" And then he just
Yeah.
force chokes the son, and he's
he
like,
just explodes him.
so yeah, he's just so much more powerful because now he's like a fully fledged Force ghost.
I don't know if he'd be able to do that though, because it's still the son,
Not just a
literal embodiment
Force
of the
Ghost,
dark,
chosen ones.
dark
I mean,
side.
Yeah.
He brought the son down
Yeah,
to
you're
his
right.
knees. So.
That was on Mortis though.
Yeah,
so-
but this is in the world between worlds.
Yeah,
like
but
this
we
is
don't
like
know what the world between
like
worlds
the
does
same
because
type
they
of
won't
atmosphere.
explain it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing though, because if the world between worlds can amp up Anakin to the point where he can take down two Force gods at the same time, then if this does relatively the same thing and Force ghosts are supposed to be like severely more powerful than they were in their physical forms, then Anakin's just a god now.
Yeah.
So, Jesus
Always
Christ,
has been.
he's always been a god.
You think he can go
Always
back
has
and take that offer that the father gave him, even though he's dead?
I don't think he would.
Unless he's become the father.
That's what I'm thinking.
Jeez. So much can go down. It's crazy. It's
But I
actually.
think
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
the father, you probably
It's
have
just
to
a theory,
stay there and
An
manage.
angel
You
theory.
probably have to manage
Like,
Mortis.
watch
You
it.
have to stay there.
This is getting crazy. Like, now that the world between worlds has finally reached, you know, the main canon, it's gonna get fucking wild.
It really is, dude.
I mean, we were talking about this like way before it came out because we were talking about what a can of worms it is and how it could everything coming.
Yeah, but
You know,
like, now that the
or
world
everything
between
before.
worlds, I was about to say, now that the world between worlds can just apparently, you know, oh hey, conveniently, the world between worlds can also like host Force ghosts for some reason.
That's not suspicious at all.
That's kind of an issue.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be
Be
suspicious.
suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't
Don't
be
be
suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Be suspicious.
Do you guys think that the last episode of this is going to be a cliffhanger?
The
Hopefully
last
not.
episode of the show?
Leading into
Of the whole show, the
Dave's-
season finale, yeah.
I hope.
leading
Oh.
into Dave's movie, maybe. It's possible. But I
Possible.
don't think
I hope it doesn't lead into Dave's movie because that is still, what, 3 years out? 2026?
Yeah.
We don't even know with how this
God.
writer's strike is going. We don't
That's
know.
so true.
Yeah, we don't even know if the fucking movie's actually going to be happening or not because the fucking Ahsoka show was written before the writer's strike even went down.
Man, it
Yeah.
sucks
Yeah.
because it's like this is. I mean, it's like this is the last little bit of Star Wars we're gonna get for at least a year, maybe more. So like, you know, it's great that it's this way. And now I'm just like, it's up to the fans. Like we gotta put. We
Isn't
gotta.
it funny?
Mhm.
Isn't it funny that the writer's strike happens right as Star Wars starts to get
I
good
know.
writers?
But I think they're
It's
making
a
a
fucking irony.
They're making a second season for a
It's a
lot
little
of these
push.
shows, though. So I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
my wishful thinking is like, maybe this will give people a while to kind of get their shit together.
Because they're definitely going to do another Andor, I would say.
So
and they're definitely doing
Oh,
another
yeah.
Kenobi.
and
Andor
I,
season 2 is pretty much confirmed.
dude, I want to
Yeah.
see. I honestly like. I'm more excited for Andor season 2 than I was Andor season 1 because it's gonna be like. I feel like it's gonna
Already
be.
filming.
It's gonna be so like dark
Oh, they were.
forces. I think, or not dark forces because that's after Return of the Jedi. But like, you know, Andor season 2 is gonna be so like. He's you know, we already know that he's like more involved with the rebellion at that point, and there was like that leaked photo of him running on Coruscant with Mon Mothma. So I'm excited for it.
I might give it a shot.
But
I'm not the biggest fan of Andor.
Me
and
neither.
I still haven't seen it all the way through, but I'll give it a shot for sure.
Like, yeah, I didn't want to like contradict myself there, but like I wasn't like, honestly, I just think that like Andor season 2 now has like a lot more potential than the first one did, and if they're gonna wait a while, you know, and then like with Kenobi, they say that I think they said that Deborah Chow, she's already involved in it, but it's like Hayden is one of the producers on it, or like Ewan. I think he was in the first one, probably. So
producers sometimes doesn't mean anything though.
Yeah. So like what I'm saying though is like they keep doing all this last minute stuff. So, if they're gonna have some time to go to the drawing board, maybe they'll get rid of Deborah, or maybe they'll change. She'll wise up.
Good. She does not need to be directing, writing, whatever she did with Kenobi. I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, that's kind of a fucking hot take there, buddy.
Is it?
No.
Maybe? I mean,
No.
Deborah Chow is not that bad of a director or a writer.
Where's the Grogu
I
no
don't think
button?
she needs to touch. I don't think she needs to touch Star Wars anymore, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I don't know it. I'm not aware of any
Ryan
other work she's done other than Star Wars.
It's kind of the whole Ryan Johnson deal where it's just like,
I mean, yeah.
great at everything else you've ever touched, but please do not come back to this.
Yeah.
Please, because you seem like a filthy casual. I'm not gonna lie. The bare minimum of these characters.
It's like talking to a family member and you're just like, we appreciate everything you've done for the family, but please leave and never come back. Which is very, very, very sad. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you guys for tuning in to this episode of Praxcast. Make sure you join us next week for Ahsoka Episode 5's review, which apparently is Rosario Dawson's favorite episode.
And didn't Dave say it was his favorite? Or
Well, it's directed by.
I know
him,
it's
so
directed by
probably
him. Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be like very interesting. So until then,
Yeah, you'll see us next week, and we'll probably be, in the midst of crippling depression.
Oh yeah.
Or absolute delight, depending on how many of you subscribe to our OnlyFans. Either way, just
again, man.
put that
Oh
up
my
there.
gosh, I forgot.
We don't hop it OnlyFans.
Maybe
You know what?
not
You know
yet.
what?
I don't
You know
know.
what, Opie?
Maybe.
You know what, Opie?
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our OnlyFans, okay? Do it.
No, Mace.
OnlyFans.
Let's go.
Do it.
Opie, you've turned him against me.
You've done that yourself.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for
All right, let's
watching.
get to work.
Absolutely lovely.
Utini, fellow travelers of the sand dunes. Have you ever yearned for a taste of the galaxy's most refreshing concoction? Look no further than Java Juice. Our Java Juice is a symphony of flavors. A dance of sweet and tangy notes that'll make your taste buds tingle with joy. Yeah! And that's not all. We've added a dash of our signature desert magic to make it truly one of a kind. But wait, there's more. Our Java Juice isn't just a delight for your taste buds. It's also a pick-me-up for those dusty days under the unforgiving twin suns.
Oh my.
Feel the energy surge through you as you take a sip of the galaxy's finest refreshment.
There, that's better.
So, whether you're a weary traveler seeking refreshment or just someone who wants a little taste of the stars, come on down to the Jawa Juice cart and treat yourself to the magic of the desert in every sip.
Jawa Juice, where every drop is a sip of the stars. Available now at select locations across the galaxy. Utini,